So you're probably thinking right now, great, more frickin' skulls. I'm going to talk about painting more skulls. But you'd be fooled to think that, because I'm not really talking about the skulls. I'm talking about my airbrush and this little doohickey right here. So I'm going to position the camera and be right back. So you're like, alright, what do you got going here, Jay? Well, the thing is, when I was working, I've dropped this a few times in the past, and I dropped it seriously a big time when I was doing the drop pods. Dropping for drop pods. Anyways, what happened the last time I had dropped it is, normally I don't use this back handle part. So what happened was that the tip got bent, and so did the back part got bent. So I had to bend that straight in order to try to get it out. And even when I bent it straight, it wasn't quite 100% straight, but the only way I could get the needle out, because it was too bent on this end, so I had to bring it out this way. And then you can see I got the needle in here, and it's not that bad. It's pretty straightened out now. Another thing that had happened, I don't know if it will show up on the camera or not, is this little part right here is a brass funnel where the paint comes through and the air goes over it in order to force the paint out. And the side that's broken is facing down, of course. Go figure. But anyways, alright, so we're back. You probably didn't even know I was gone. But anyways, what happened with the brass tube was, when I dropped it, and this is probably more than once that it happened, but the last time I dropped it, it put a big gouge into the brass tube here, the little thing right here. So of course, with that gouge there and the airflow going over, with the airflow going over that tip, because I was having problems with some spittle coming down, so I had the theory that it had to have been because of that broken part. Now, so I had to get it, I had to replace the needle. Might as well, because the tip of the needle isn't really 100% straight. I worked on that, but I can tell that there's some abrasions on there and some lines. So that's probably from the action of the needle going back and forth, scraping against the metal tube that's cracked, and probably even this cap here. So figure, get it replaced, fix it, get a new brass thing. So I was looking online, and it's kind of crazy. This little part alone was $5. Needle's $5, and then another replacement of the cap was like $5, and you put shipping and handling in there, it was just, well, crap, it's like 20 some bucks. So what I did is I went to Michael's and I picked up a needle for a different airbrush. Of course, it's not really advisable, because it's a different airbrush, could have different components. Now, what did I find out? It is a different component. What I bought was a needle for the 105, 155, and 200 needle nozzle conversion kit for the models of that same number brand. Now, my airbrush that I'm using is a Crescendow 175. So you can tell right here that the needle in the Crescendow is really short, and the 200 and the 155 is quite longer. The other thing too that's different between the two needles is the diameter. the diameter for the 155 is smaller than for the Crescendow 175. Now these are both the fine needle tips for the Badger airbrush lines. So what I did is I took the cap off. I'm going to put this back on for a moment here while I'm screwing around. So what I did is I took the cap off and the bronze tube inside, took those out. Put the new one for the 155 in there, and then closed it, and then took the new cap that goes along with the needle and put that on there. And then once those were on, I gently slid in the needle and then screwed in to lock it into place. What happened is when I was trying to bring the needle back and forth, the needle just stayed in place. So even with this, when this was tight, it was slipping on the needle, slipping over the needle, because the needle itself was a smaller diameter. Again, the Crescendow fine needle is a thicker diameter. Simple fix is I took just a little piece of paper and just kind of shoved it in there with the needle. I mean, not like forcefully, but worked it in there, and then just took the wing nut, well, this isn't a wing nut, but I took the nut and then screwed that down, and that's enough friction on the needle here to hold it into place. And surprisingly, it's just enough room with play in the handle. And to avoid bending the needle again by dropping it, in the future I will now keep this on. Of course, I had dropped it when I was working with it, so that's why I didn't have this on. But when you're not doing anything, might as well keep the cap on it too. So that is what I have done. Oops, screwing my that's what I've done as far as right now. I haven't even tested it yet to see if it will work. So that's what the skulls are for. I'm going to take my cobalt blue, and I'm going to add a slow dry blending medium to it with some fluoride water, and we'll give it a test. Alright, so I got my paint thoroughly mixed. You can see that really it's just a little bit lighter in color, and that's just because the slow dry medium is opaque when wet but clear when dry. And I had stirred this for quite some time, and I'm just going to use my cup here, and we'll go ahead, and what I'm doing right now is wrapping the cord around my arm here, help keep it all the way. And you might think that the picture is a little foggy, and the reason why that is because I got a little clear plastic bag covering my camera. So we'll see if that works. Yep, we'll get rid of this brush here. Save some paint there. And we'll put that in the wash. And make sure my caps are on there decently. Put in the cup. Turn on the air compressor. Now when I turn this air compressor on, I probably won't have the audio running in the vid, but that's okay. We'll see how these skulls turn out with the 155 needle in it. Alright, well, that was a bust. what happened is that there is a slight difference in the bronze cap that goes over the needle before the other caps, and the one I had was designed like this with a bit more of a steep incline and then branches out like this. The one that comes with the 5.5 model is pretty much starts off at a slender point and goes all the way out. So as far as I can tell, this cap here is exactly the same design for both the Crescendow and the 155. I don't know if the thickness of the needle was the difference. I'm assuming it was more of the cone deal, because the way how the middle cap here, I think, lines up such like this in here, so it allows when the hole, there's only one hole, it's like on this side here, and the air will come flying out through there. Oh, so that's, I think I probably could get it to work with the needle. Don't know for certain, but what it means is that I would have to at least buy the bronze piece right here to see if it would actually work or not. But oh well. I was planning on maybe getting a new brush anyways. But we will put this together, and then I will just go ahead and airbrush the skulls. Alright, so I'm going ahead and gonna clean out the airbrush here. One thing about when you're using acrylics is you want to make sure you kind of clean your stuff right away, considering that acrylics will dry fast. Now what I'm going to do here is loosen the chuck and pull the needle to the front. And there's a little bit of resistance because it's not quite straight. Remember, this is the needle that's been bent a few times. Paper towel. It's got some water on it. It's damp. Doesn't have to be like super clean. And when the light is green, the trap is clean. And then take the needle and then gently guide it back through. And there we go. Could have had this on. Alright, so one thing I mentioned about the Crescendow that I have discovered recently in using it is that, so unlike other airbrushes where you can just take the tip off here, and supposedly it's supposed to paint even finer lines, it don't work. Not with the Crescendow 175. The air comes out but no paint comes out. But the one thing I've noticed with this piece here, that if I just advance it a little bit, not a whole lot, it takes testing and stuff like that, but I do find I get a little bit more airflow, more paint out. So if I'm just doing the base coating like I'm doing, it works a lot better. It also seems to work better against the tip drive for some reason. Why that the mechanics to why that is, I don't know, but I found if you just loosen a little bit, it will spray pretty good. Alright, well, I am going to edit this video and put it up and go get something to eat. Thanks for watching.